Enoch disappeared, and none of the children of men knew where he had gone. He lived 365 years on earth, and begat Methuselah, who begat Lamech, who in turn begat Noah. Enoch walked with the Lord, and when his days were complete, he was allowed to ascend into the heavens while he was still alive, and what became of him and his activities were known only by the holy ones and the watchers. As Enoch blessed the name of the King of Ages, he was called by the holy watchers, the holy angels who watch. And they said to him, Enoch, you scribe of righteousness, go to the watchers who have left heaven, the holy eternal place, and have done as the children of earth do, taking wives for themselves and defiling themselves. Tell them that they have done great destruction on earth, and that they shall have no peace, nor forgiveness of sin. Since they delight themselves in their children, they shall see the murder and destruction of their children, and they shall lament and make supplication, but they shall receive no mercy. Enoch did as instructed, and said to Azazel, You shall have no peace. A severe sentence has been passed against you. You shall have neither rest, nor mercy, nor shall any of your requests be granted, because of the unrighteousness and all works of godlessness which you have taught and shown to men. When Enoch had spoken to all of the watchers who fell, they were seized with fear. They asked him to make a petition for them in the presence of the Lord of heaven, that they might find forgiveness. They had been condemned, and thus forbidden to speak with the Lord. They were no longer to lift their eyes to the heavens, because of the shame of their sins. Enoch wrote out their petition for forgiveness and forbearance, individually, then sat down at the waters of Dan, which was southwest of Hermon, and read out the petition until he fell asleep. He had a vision of the punishment of the watchers, and a voice instructed him to disapprove of their petition, and rebuke them. When he awoke, he came to the watchers where they sat together in Abel's jail, which is between Lebanon and Senassa. Their faces were covered, and they were weeping. And Enoch recounted to them all he had seen in his vision, and began to reprimand them. He said to them, The Great One has given me the power to reprimand the watchers, children of heaven. I wrote out your petition, and in my vision, it appeared that your petition will not be granted to you throughout the days of your eternity, and judgment has finally been passed on you. From here onwards, you shall not ascend into heaven again for all eternity, and you shall be bound on earth for all eternity. But before this, you shall see the destruction of your beloved sons. They shall fall before you by the sword, and no petition on their behalf would be granted, even if you weep and pray and say all the words of my writings. And then he narrated his vision to them, that he was summoned into the clouds, which flashed with lightning, and the winds lifted him up into the heavens. He was taken to a large house, which was built out of crystals, with doors of blazing fire, and surrounded by tongues of fire. The walls of the house were like a mosaic of hailstones, and the floor was as white as snow. The ceiling was like the path of the stars and lightning flashes, and between them were the fiery cherubim. The house was as hot as fire and cold as ice. There were no pleasures or life in it, and Enoch fell on his face out of fear. Then he saw a second house, similar to the first, but greater than the first. Its doors stood open for him, and the house was magnificently built. He beheld a throne set on high. It was made of crystals, and its wheels were like a shining sun, and around it were the cherubim. From underneath the throne flowed a river of fire, and he who is great in glory sat on the throne, his clothing whiter than snow, and brighter than the sun. None of the angels could behold his face because of his magnificence, and a great fire stood in front of him, that no one could draw close. The most holy ones who surround his throne did not leave, day or night, and when Enoch had seen all these, he fell on his face, trembling. And the Great One said to him, "Come here, Enoch, and hear my word." As he said this, one of the holy ones picked Enoch up and brought him to the door, where he bowed before the throne. And the Great One spoke to him, saying, "Do not be afraid, Enoch. Go and tell the watchers for whom you have come to intercede, that they should intercede for men, and not men for them. Why have they left the holy and eternal heaven, and taken women as wives, laying with them, and defiling themselves? They have done like the children of earth, and have begotten giants. They have hardened their hearts, and have revealed the mysteries of heaven to the children of men, and through these mysteries, men and women work much evil on earth. Though they were holy, and living the eternal life, they have defiled themselves with the blood of women, and have begotten children with the blood of flesh. And like the children of men, their children have lusted after blood and flesh, like those who die, and are killed. This is why I have given men wives, that they might multiply, and their deeds might continue on the earth. But they, the watchers, are spiritual and immortal for all generations. Therefore, I have not appointed wives for them. They are spiritual beings of heaven, and heaven was their dwelling place. Hear me now. The giants born from the spirit and the flesh shall become evil spirits on earth. At their death, evil spirits shall come out of their bodies, and shall live on earth, because they are born from men and from the holy watchers, and their beginning is of primal origin. They shall be evil spirits, and evil spirits shall they be called. For the spirits of heaven, the heavens shall be their dwelling place. But for the spirits of earth which were born on earth, the earth shall be their dwelling. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men, for they proceeded from them, in the days of slaughter and destruction. At the death of the giants, spirits shall emerge from their corpses, and they shall attack and oppress. They shall afflict and cause trouble on earth, but they shall not be observed. They shall destroy, without incurring judgment, until the day of the great judgment in which all ages shall be consummated over the watchers and the godless. Go now. Tell the watchers as I have told you. They shall have no peace,